Hello everyone. This is Theologate Talks, a mission experience sharing series of the Divine Word Theologate, a formation house of the Divine Word Missionaries in Chicago, Illinois. My name is Quang Pham, and I will be your host for today. In 1875, when St. Arnold Jansen established the Society of the Divine Word or the Divine Word Missionaries, he only intended to found a cleric religious institution. However, there were a number of men who wanted to join the society but did not want to become priests. 4 years later, in 1879, St. Arnold eventually decided to accept Brotherhood vocations. And since then, brothers have been great help in the missionary work of the Society of the Divine Word. They have set tremendous examples of deep faith and humble services for all members in our communities. And many SVDs have shared that they have been inspired greatly by the brothers. And because Brotherhood is a very special vocation, we have here with us today one of our own brothers from the Philippines, Brother Mark Paglicawan.
Hello, Frater Quang. Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to share my story with you and your viewers. This is with the hope and prayer that at least one would be inspired to answer the call and also follow the path that we are taking.
Thank you for being here. So first of all, can you share with us a little bit about your vocational journey, like how you get to know the Divine Word Missionaries in the Philippines and how you got to know the Brotherhood vocation?
Okay. I learned about the SVDs because I grew up in the Philippines, where the island where I spent my childhood years, were an SVD Vision Province. It's Mindoro, and the island of Mindoro Occidental. And I also studied and graduated in an SVD-run institution, the Divine Word College of San Jose. For my vocation journey, I'll try to make it short. I grew up in a family that is quite religious. We spend most of our time, especially as a family, praying, and also we attend Mass together every Sunday. And then I remember I was in 3rd grade when I became an altar boy or an acolyte for our cathedral. And I also joined the choir. From those moments, I knew that I love doing the things that are being done in the church. And so after high school, I decided to enter the seminary. When I was asked what congregation, since I only knew about SVD, so I told my mom that I wanted to become an SVD. And so we went to the National Capital Region, that's Manila, in Luzon Island. And then after 3 years, I left the seminary formation because of a family reason. That is another story. And I went back to the province. I studied education. I graduated 2004. After 3 years, I graduated and then became a licensed teacher, a professional teacher, and then I worked for 5 years. And when I left the seminary the first time, I knew that I would come back. And so after 5 years, I re-entered the seminary formation. And it was in my novitiate year when I decided to become a brother. To shift from cleric to brotherhood. And then it was June 1, 2013 when I had my first vows. After 5 years of continuing my seminary formation as a religious brother, I had my Perpetual Vows on January 27, 2018. It has been 4 years. I've been to several ministries already, but mostly in the education ministry because I am a teacher. And for my first mission assignment, In the Philippine Southern Province, I was a chaplain of the 2 campuses of the universities we have in the Southern Province. So I spent there 1 year, and then I was asked to study theology in Tagaytay. And then I'm now here in Chicago to taking my MA in Biblical Ministry.
So you joined the SVD when you were in a young age, and then you left for a few years, and you came back.
Yes.
And then you switched from clerics to Brotherhood Vocation,
Yes.
and then you went for your first assignment in like educational ministries, and then you came here to the U.S. to study for 1 year, and then you'll be back.
Yes.
Okay, so
In short.
so at the moment you decided to switch from clerics to Brotherhood Vocation, what was the main reason behind that decision?
The decision to shift from cleric to Brotherhood, I believe, was a fruit of my discernment. I took my discernment seriously, and my formation within the seminary and even outside the seminary, the prayers, a lot of prayers, the interventions of the formators and professionals, the things that had happened while I was outside the seminary helped me a lot in finalizing my decision. It was not a very easy decision. I remember I was in my novitiate year during our 30-day retreat, the Ignatian retreat. I was for several nights, I was in front of the Blessed Sacrament, crying and then arguing with God. Because when I entered the seminary, I wanted to become a priest. I really wanted to become a priest. But within those years that I was inside the seminary, I felt that it was just me who was calling myself. I don't know how I get into that situation, but I felt that it was just me. That the one who's calling me to become a priest was just me. And when I learned about Brotherhood inside the seminary, and I know that there is this still my love for my profession as a teacher and to serve the church in whatever way I can, so I shifted to Brotherhood. Aside from I am a professional teacher, I also have skills when it comes to performing arts. That's why I also taught theater when I was still a teacher in Quezon City Science High School. And then, I use singing whenever we have liturgies. Sometimes if we have presentations or that are required for us in the seminary, even if I am already a professed brother, I still join the seminarians in conceptualizing and even performing with them. There were a lot of things that had happened, but at present, I am very happy with the decision. I have never regretted shifting to Brotherhood, though it was still very difficult. It was very difficult during that time, especially on how I would be telling my family, since the Philippines, as you know, is a very clerical country. The society is very clerical, and my family also, especially my parents, expected that after novitiate I would go to Tagaytay, study theology, and after several years I would become a priest. But it's just I am just so blessed that I have a family who understands that whenever I make a decision, it is a fruit of a prayer, and I have thought over it.
So, as you have decided to be a brother, now I think many would want to know like the similarities and the differences between each of the two vocations.
That's really one thing that I get a lot, especially as a brother. That's why I already have prepared like a speech whenever I would be giving retreats and recollections or talk in the Philippines, or whenever I would be meeting new people, because the usual question is, "Oh, when will you become a priest?" And then my line would always be, especially if you're like I have just met you, and then I would say, I am Brother Mark Paglicawan, SVD, a religious brother. I am not a priest. Unlike priests whose ministry is focused on the administration of the sacraments, we religious brothers help the church through our professions and skills. So there are brothers who are teachers like me, there are brothers who are lawyers or architects, but there are also brothers who are farmers or gardeners or sowers, things like that. And then sometimes I would say, oh, so when will you still become a priest? And then I would just say, okay, I'll just pray for you. Because sometimes it tests your patience, but of course we have to be very patient and understanding with them, because religious brotherhood is really not so popular. That's why for me it's really a very special vocation. As a very special vocation, because most of the time you don't get recognition whenever you do something, and for me that is really one of the reasons why I also opted to become a brother. That even if my effort or my work for the church and for others are not recognized or not acknowledged, I know that that God sees whatever I do for the church. But again, it could be, it depends on the person. It could be a blessing, but it could also be a challenge, especially if you are just after the recognition. Yeah. But if you're after your intention is really to help, then you don't mind even if you don't even if you don't get recognition.
And that's why it is a very special vocation.
Right? Yeah, for me. Because, at least for me.
Because if I remember correctly, in the beginning of the Society of the Divine Word, there was a time that the number of brothers in the society was even more than the number of priests. But today, out of 6,000 members that we have around the world, 1/10 of them are brothers, around 600 brothers.
Or even less.
So we're praying more for the brotherhood vocation. And you shared earlier about the cultural context in the Philippines, where people are expecting you to be, priests, and it's a very clerical society. What are some other challenges that you have faced during your years of being a brother when you do ministry or when you teach?
I think the challenges are normal, whether you are a brother or a priest. It's just how we look at things that what makes it different. And I just take time to let them know about brotherhood, so they will also be informed.
So for those who are interested in the brotherhood vocation, what words of encouragement that you can give them?
I think for those who are considering not only a brotherhood vocation, but all those who are considering serving the church, serving God, and serving others, I suggest that you discern well, you pray more, and be true to yourself. Because if you are not true to yourself, you might be wasting your time. Remember that your vocation is between you and your God. And if you won't be honest with yourself, you won't be happy with this life. You won't find meaning in the things that you do. And I believe that is what is important, especially whenever we make decisions for our future.
So thank you very much, Brother Mark, for being here with us. I appreciate all of your stories and the insights that you have shared today. I'm sure that through your stories, many will get to know more about the brotherhood vocation.
We hope.
Yeah. And may God always bless you with your future ministries. Also bless your family and also the brotherhood vocation. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/DWT Chicago. May God bless you and your loved ones always.